Peace to the family, peace to my comrades, and it's always smoke. To the COINTELPRO boxing fan, come on in, family. Let's talk a little boxing this morning. Introducing. Introducing. Peace, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. So, to my family that's checking in, trying to see what coach is gonna cook this morning, that's not what this live is about. This live is for my boxing family. We're gonna talk about an issue that we have to break down what's going on. Family, what we're witnessing right now all over the world, in society, we're seeing a gap between generation by generation. And we are seeing the degradation of society, kind of like in the movie Idiocracy. And as far as my boxing family, I just want you all to know that, I'm pretty much on my last leg with this. To see Boots taking a picture with Canelo, and the excuses that we're seeing to make it okay. Family, we deserve everything that's coming our way because of our refusal to stick together, our refusal to be on code. What does being on code mean? What is that all about for those who don't understand? For those who are, you all are listening to black men and black women have this conversation. What does it mean? Right? What are black people talking about when they're talking about being on code? All right. Let's talk about it. There's a place in Georgia called Kennesaw, right? And back in the day, during the 1996 Olympics, people in the city were given vouchers to move out all over metro Atlanta and the outskirts of it. And we thought that it would salute Kamara Fields. Salute to you. Hey, family. We not starting this shit off like this. If I don't see you, or if I'm in the middle of a thought, Give me a chance to get my thought off, and I'm going to recognize you. Anyway, all white town, right? It's an all white town, and they have a meeting. And in this meeting, they say, listen, crime is increasing all over Metro Atlanta. We need to do something to make sure we keep our community safe. So everyone is on code. And everyone in that small town, this small white town, decides, okay, we're going to make it a city ordinance that every household by law has to have a self-defense weapon. Okay? So what that means is any house that's broken into, anyone that becomes a victim of strong arm robbery or home invasion, every house has a self-defense weapon. So you know what happened? This place in Georgia became one of the safest places to live. Okay? It wasn't about racism or black and white or any of that. What it was about was this town got together, saw that there was an issue, and this small white town all said, you know what? We're going to be on code about this. It's very easy to understand. My family's coming in the house. Salute a condo. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and always God bless the mighty LDBC. Shout out to the queen, Shaquilla Fields. Kamara Fields in the house. All right. So family, I'm talking about being on code, and I'm going to bring it back to us because people are trying to say right now that being on code is just a thing that we're trying to make up. I'm going to show you how other tribes and groups of people are on code, and it's not a problem. But it's only with us. We are having a battle for morals and principles between us and our community. Okay? I haven't even said anything about Boots being on code yet. So just hold on, because I'm gonna get to Boots in a second. Because this really ain't even about Boots. This isn't just about Tank. This isn't just about Keyshawn. This isn't just about any of the goofy shit that's been going on representing black men and women in this sport. I'm gonna get to us in a second. So just take your time. I promise I'm gonna get to you. So for the family that are just coming in, I was talking about a white neighborhood that decided to get on code together to protect themselves. There was nobody at these town hall meetings saying, hey, why can't we all just get along? Hey, why do we have to make it about race? Hey, it wasn't about that. It was about them coming together and being on code to protect themselves so not one person would be attacked. Not one. Those are white folks, people. That happened right here. Till this day, in Georgia, if you go to Kennesaw and you buy a house there, it is a city ordinance for you to have a home defense weapon. One of the safest places to live in Georgia today. These were white folks. White men in this community came together and said, we need to do this to be able to protect every single one, and no one will be a victim. Because that's what you do when you're leading your tribe and your community. Let's move on. In Koreatown, in a few of the metro cities on the West Coast, they were getting robbed. It was a lot of stuff going on. So they have a meeting. These Koreans have a meeting. And they come together and they talk to some of their Pacific Island brothers and sisters, and they get armed. All of them. There was nobody in this town hall meeting saying, hey, we don't need to do that. Going against the grain. Going against something that is positive and helps everyone in the community. So later on in life, the athletes that do come from these communities, they have support from the whole community. When Caitlin Clark, regardless of the intentions of the group of people who might be supporting her, you have never seen a group of white men or women rushing to YouTube to drag Caitlin Clark. But look at us. Look how we drag our own. Look how we treat our own. Look how we say our people don't need to be on code. Okay. So everyone else, and let me talk to the men for a second. How do we look as men who are supposed to be leaders of our community say, you know what? They ain't got to be on code. Our brothers ain't got to be on code. So you know what? We deserve everything that's coming our way. We deserve to be treated like the sharecroppers that they're about to treat us like, because you Negroes keep being these defense mechanisms, setting up these excuses of why you don't have to stand up on your principles. So this is what you all are telling the whole world. This is what you Negroes are telling the whole world over the last few weeks. Based off of you all's logic, you're saying that, hey, our athletes, black men, we don't need to be held accountable for each other's actions. We don't need to be on code. As long as the money and the opportunity presents itself, that's enough for you to go against your integrity and morals. If Canelo came to Atlanta, Georgia, and was called all kinds of racial slurs by black men and women, salute Universal Truth in the house. Salute Shelton LDBC in the house. But let's give an example, because I have to paint the full portrait for some of you brothers to understand what you are complicit in. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm on my last leg with you brothers. I'm in the balance, and I'm about to be done. Because I don't want to be grouped together with you. If Canelo came to Atlanta, Georgia, and it was a press conference of black people calling him racial slurs, there would be not one. You hear me? There would not be one Hispanic going against the grain talking about, well, I had the opportunity and the money to support these brothers after we had put on a show of disrespect to him and his people. You know why? Because they're on code. Because they have self-respect for them and their people. You could not go into an Indian community and disrespect them and then they support you. You could not go into an Asian community, disrespect them, and they support you. You damn sure couldn't go into a Jewish community, disrespect them, and they support you, especially if they're Ashkenazi Jews. You definitely could not go into a predominantly white community, disrespect them, and they support you. But you brothers over the last week have told me that as long as the money and the opportunity presents itself, it's okay. Where is your backbone? Who raised you Negroes? So What we're witnessing now is a great falling away from. In the good book, in the book of Revelations, it talks about there's going to be a great falling away from. Now, many theologians argue about what this great falling away from. Some people say it's going to be a falling away from the church. Some people say it's going to be a falling away of principles. We are seeing amongst us, it is a falling away of morals and principles right now. We can't even check our own young anymore because of the disrespect. I had a young man disrespect Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather's boxing legacy to defend the business moves of a boxer who said himself, I don't need you to defend me. Shut your mouth and be a fan. I know y'all don't like this truth. I know you don't like it. So to the men, let's have a talk. How are our women and children supposed to respect us when every other group of men are protecting their community and on code on how they should be moving, especially when it's time for them to be on the world stage? So you all say, Boots ain't got to be on code. You all say, well, Boots' brother was sparring Canelo years ago. You say Tank can do what he want. Don't be hard on Keyshawn. We know he acted a fool, but hey, man, he gonna bounce back. There is no accountability. Don't call out nobody as long as you like them. But you all are the same Negroes who drag a brother like Devin Haney, who drag a brother like Errol Spence, who drag and rooted against a Deontay Wilder. And then y'all want to get mad when they make a statue of Tyson Fury with his foot over the chest of Deontay Wilder. They on code. But you Negroes want to tell me we don't need to be on code. We don't need to have any type of unity. Who raised you dudes, man? You make excuses for every single thing that is wrong. And then when someone who does truly hate us uses racist talking points, you make it harder for people like me to defend our community because you all come out and say, hey, man, hey, bro, he can do what he want, man. Hey, man, he got in trouble with the law, but so what, man? He can do what he want, man. He getting his money. You know why? Because they're moving how you would move. They don't want to handle their responsibilities that the weight carries. And you know what's so disgusting? For those of you who say you don't need to be on code, the only reason why we are here in the position that we're in today is because people sacrificed, lost their lives for us to be able to do what we're doing today. But it's us that say, you ain't got to keep that legacy going. I'm not even. Family, I'm on my last leg. I'm on my last leg. So, Soul Redeemed said, that's everyone though, bro. We all suffered. That's right. The human race has suffered. Let's talk about it. The human race has suffered. I'm not going to argue right now about who suffered more. The point that I'm making is that all of those who have suffered, don't let you forget. You cannot go to these other communities and disrespect them and they support you. You cannot go to a reserve owned by Native Americans, disrespect them, and they keep doing business with you. You cannot go to a Ashkenazi Jewish community, disrespect them because of what they've been through, and then they still support you. You cannot go to an Indian community and they still support you. You cannot still go to an Asian community and they still support you. What are you black niggas not getting that we need to be on code off the simple fact of what we've been through? What are y'all not getting? What are y'all not getting? So, this is why. This is why our fighters are about to be sharecroppers in the sport again. This is why. Because y'all want us to do whatever. What, man, get your ass up out of here. Get your ass up out of here. Y'all want to be able to do whatever you want, and then when somebody says, hey man, y'all look crazy for doing that. Sometimes it's bigger. It's bigger. Man, get this dude up out of here. Sometimes it's bigger. Than your comfort. See, listen, family, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, and this live might get banned. All of you who don't understand what I'm saying, and I'm speaking clear English and giving you evidence, I'm done with you. You deserve everything that's coming to you. And the only thing you can do is troll and say BS because you don't want to stand on principles either. Salute to the queen of boxing media, Sugar Free Mars. So, what's his name? Soul Redeemed. Soul Redeemed said that we've all suffered. And I agree. The whole human race has suffered in some way, but the difference is you can't go to their communities, disrespect them, and they still work with you. And they still support you. Y'all are bitch ass niggas. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Y'all are bitch ass niggas, and the reason why you are a bitch ass nigga is because you know as an adult black man what our children are gonna have to deal with one day, and you still make excuses. You all are disgusting, cowardly Negroes, and I'm sick of you. But this is where we at today. There is a great falling away in principles, morals, integrity. You don't want to stand up for anything. And I know you hate the fact that I'm giving you examples of all of these other men from other communities standing up, and you still want to joke around like this is a game. I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't give a damn about what happened yesterday. When Terrence Crawford was being booed and called nigger during the New York City press conference, at that point moving forward, every fighter should have stood up and said, you know what? We're not doing this. We're not putting up with this. So don't tell me I did this shit. I was in the field. I trained with the 2012 U.S. Olympic boxing team. I know where you can go get sparring partners from. Don't get up here trying to make it seem like it just had to be Boots to go help Canelo. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it, I know people are going to have to pay a price for how you brothers move. No protection. No protection for our people. None whatsoever. I got some people that came in. Salute to the queen, Tay, always supporting a brother. And look, family, they think it's a joke. Our brothers, they think it's a joke. To disrespect the legacy of a Muhammad Ali, you wouldn't be able to stand on the shoulders you're standing on without our fighters doing our thing. Do you know how weak we look as men when Brian Norman Jr. can go over to Cali be called all kinds of names, beat they man in front of him, stand over his body with the prison poles, and then you all try to drag him before you find out he's next for Devin Haney. Instead of getting behind and supporting that brother. What does being on code look like? Being on code is like that brother that was on the Katrina documentary and said, you know what? I got in my own boat and started helping our people because I saw help wasn't coming. But many of you brothers, you would do for you would just fend for yourself. You would go right by because you're weak. You have no code yourself. So you come out and defend the undefendable. You come and try to defend those who should be. This is your time to stand up. Now, family, watch this. For those of you who say Boots ain't got to be on code, okay. You all are the same brothers who were just saying Boots can have 2 tune-ups because he needs to get acclimated to the weight. But he's sparring Canelo right now. Let me say it again. You all said, let me make it so plain. Because for whatever reason, when Coach starts speaking facts, you all start acting like you're not understanding what I'm saying. You brothers got on Drew Titan's channel, you got on the General's channel, you got on Champside's channel, and you all said, listen, brothers, it's all good. It's all good. You see, Boots has to get acclimated to the weight because he's such a smaller guy going up. He need to get 2 tune-ups before fighting somebody like Virgil, right? But look, family, can somebody tell me what weight class does Canelo fight at? Does Canelo fight at 154? What weight class does Canelo Alvarez fight at? Does Canelo Alvarez fight at 154? How big is Canelo? But Boots, hold up, time out. See, y'all can't even defend your own logic. This is why you need to stop getting in front of the cannons and getting blown to pieces for people that don't need your help. So this is what you said. Salute, Freedom's March in the building. This is what you said. You said Boots needs his tune-ups to get acclimated to this weight. But Boots is sparring Canelo Alvarez right now, helping him prepare for Boots. Wait a minute. For those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, for those of you who aren't grasping, Boots is about to be campaigning at 154. Canelo probably weighs about 170, 175 pounds right now. But Boots is sparring him, getting him ready, getting Canelo Alvarez ready for Bud Crawford. Now watch this, family, because I know they're deceptive intelligence. This is what they're going to say. They're going to say, Coach, that's sparring. It's just sparring. This is how disgusting these dudes are, and I'm done with it. I do not want to be grouped together with you dudes. I don't want to be grouped with you. I want everybody to know I love the sport of boxing. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Now, no matter what color creed you got going on, if you cheat, I'm going to be against you. If you do not hold the integrity and the morals of the sport, I'm going to be against you because I'm a lover of the sport. I also am a black man who is going to defend and root for my tribe like any other man should root and support theirs. But it's you brothers who are disrespecting the legacy of our people, who have paved the way. They were on Champside's channel talking about Champside. Well, you know, anybody would take that kind of money. You would take that kind of money. And it's driving me crazy, the narrative I'm hearing. So Coach Hudson calls in. I call in, I say, all right, brother. Now, the older brother is the one I was talking to because he was the one stating the fact that it is the money thing. And this is what everybody's standing on. If the opportunity presented itself for any prize fighter, they would take the money, right? Now follow me, family. I'm going to give you the same historical lesson that I gave the older brother that I was talking to. I said to him, I said, brother, when Muhammad Ali was at the pinnacle of his career, he left to avoid the draft for his morals and principles. That's one example of a man taking less money to no money. When Ali got kicked out of boxing, a lot of people don't remember, but the Nation of Islam, many of them had also turned their back on Ali as well. The Ali biopic played by Will Smith goes into that a little bit. Okay? Family, if you're just getting in here and you don't know what I'm talking about, shut your ass up and listen. If you're just getting in and you don't know what I'm talking about, shut up and listen. So Muhammad Ali, he misses the sport for 3 years, comes back and is still great. Sugar Ray Leonard, already retired, has his face on the Wheaties box, has all kinds of endorsements. America loves him. Household name, rich. Has a detached retina. Marvin Hagler calls him out. He could have stayed retired. Comes back. When Top Rank signed Floyd Mayweather, this is history. This goes into Champside explaining the difference between subjective and objective. I'm naming facts. And the older brother had no defense for what I said because he knew what I was saying was exact and correct. Because sometimes we forget the shoulders that we stand on. But you know what the young brother got on there and said? And I actually had to be quiet for a second because I was about to cuss him out. And because he's a regular on Champside's channel, I knew that he was repeating brainwashing talking points that he heard himself. The older brother left that alone. The young brother gets on and says, well, Ali ducked Ken Norton, Sugar Ray Leonard ducked Aaron Pryor, and Floyd Mayweather ducked somebody. That's what he said. And I had to pause. And I just said, because Champside was like, hey, you know, I need to go ahead and everybody say the last words. And I left it at this. I said, you know what, family? Champside, thank you for giving us this platform for us to speak truth on. But it is disgusting that I just heard a so-called boxing fan disrespect the legacy of a Muhammad Ali to defend the business moves of a Tank Davis. Then the young man says, well, they all ducked. And I left it alone. I ain't say nothing else. Because I could feel my blood pressure starting to raise. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to disrespect? You know what? I'm almost done, family. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have been hoodwinked and bamboozled myself because when I came into these spaces, I thought that I was dealing with boxing fans, real boxing fans. But the more this goes on, I realize that I've been dealing with agents of chaos, idol worshipers of men this whole time. That's why we have to have conversations with these young men. So they couldn't, so this is what happens, family. When you hit people with facts, because if you hear a coach come on a panel, 9 times out of 10, I'm not coming to argue with you about your opinion. I want to show you where you dead ass wrong with facts. I'm going to show you where you're dead wrong with facts. So you can't defend what I said, because the premise of it was any fighter would do it if they were in that position. And I showed, I even look, family, I took them back to the old mongoose Archie Moore, who was under the threat of death by the mob for not throwing fights. But you want to tell me that any fighter would do it because you don't know better, because you don't know your history. See, the guy that came in here earlier, who were talking about we have all suffered, and I pointed out to you how you can't go into those communities and do whatever you want. It's also because their children, they don't depend on public school to teach them their history. The Brothers Freedom's March said, this is why free speech is important. You want these fools to be exposed and out in the open. Now you know what you're dealing with, Coach. Only free speech can reveal this. That's a fact. Only the truth can expose a well-dressed lie. Because when you get on these panels and you say these facts, no matter what they say after, young people who are hearing what you're saying are going to go look it up. If they didn't know before, they're going to go look up, well, you know, Ali refuses draft. They go look up Sugar Ray Leonard fights Marvin Hagler despite detached retina. They can go look up these things for themselves and see we are being misled by people that don't know what the hell they're talking about, and people that know better, but through deceptive intelligence still are doing what they're doing. We got brothers like, look how they doing Shador and Shiloh in the NFL. See, that's weight. That's real weight on you. But our fighters, who are supposed to be some of the baddest warriors in sports entertainment, are putting on clown shows. So I'm at a point where, I see what's coming. And this is going to be another prophecy moment. And I'm glad my brother Freedom's March is in here, because Freedom's March and I told you all not too long ago on the General's channel, we said, if you brothers do not stop your self-hate and killing of each other, the real killers who have been sitting back waiting, preparing to deal with you and come into your community, since you won't do right, since you want to keep terrorizing your community, one day, all it's going to take is the right administration to say, you know what? We're going to clean this up. They don't want to do it themselves. We going to do it. See, you all have been given, I'm going to tell you what's coming, because I'm done arguing with y'all. I'm done arguing with old fools and young fools. But I'm going to tell you what's coming. To the young people, I want you to go look up something called the Kerner Commission. All right? I want you to go look up something called the Kerner Commission and the COINTELPRO program. Read it. If you don't want to read, go look up videos on it. Have an understanding of what you're dealing with. You see, we were given a time to get our stuff together because there were people in government who felt guilty about the unaliving of a lot of our leaders, who felt guilty about knowing that our communities were being ravished with drugs, who felt guilty about dropping loads of ammunition and weapons that we could not get ourselves into our communities and leaving them unsecured. They know that this happened. So the remnants of the civil rights movements, those leaders, they tried to let them do their thing. But see, we keep missing the bus. And you might say, well, Coach, what bus are you talking about? After MLK was unalived, quick history lesson, I'm going to get back to boxing. After MLK was unalived, we were supposed to stop chasing integration. So some of you are going to say, well, Coach, are you talking about segregation? Are you? No, I'm not. The Asians didn't chase integration. The Indians didn't chase integration. They pulled their resources together and they went into communities like ours and made a future for themselves. That's the first bus we miss. So we integrate. We get rid of our sports. And now look at our sports today. Look how they do our athletes that step out of line. And we are so conditioned that we can see what's going on, but we still have our women and men getting our young ones in these young football programs, preparing them to go make a PWI rich. I know y'all don't like that. I know y'all don't like that. We missed a few buses. Men and women. And you might say, well, Coach, what are you talking about? Our women miss some of the buses too. It ain't just us. During the feminist movement, another movement helped to separate the civil rights movement because the government said, you know what? We have to separate the family because they're too strong like this. But to the sisters, hold that thought. I want everyone to take a look at this picture, okay? Y'all see this picture right here? This picture's in black and white, so you know it's old, right? So in this picture, you see this man right here? This man is a World War II soldier. And he's holding Nazis at surrender. Okay, this is during World War II. Now to the sisters, do you know what was going on during World War II? For the first time in America, black women didn't have to work. They didn't have to work because the black GIs, see this? The black GIs was sending money back to their women for the first time. So guess what happened? The white women got mad and they made laws to force you sisters to keep coming to their homes and taking care of their children and cleaning their houses. That is a fact. Look it up. And what's crazy about it is, off of that alone, you all never should have helped them with their feminist movement. That's another bus missed. So some might say, oh, Coach, that was a long time ago. All right, 1995, 3 million black men show up in D.C. After that, we were supposed to go back to the communities and do the work. But after that, people were still depending on the church and the Nation of Islam to do all the work. That ain't gonna work, y'all. And it didn't work. What's another bus we missed? When the churches signed the faith-based initiative to no longer teach moral condemnation and political views as well in the pulpit, you started getting all of this, what do they call it, prophet preaching. So now the church is no longer as strong as it used to be. This was all calculated because when the Million Man March happened, the church and the NOI had to work together to get 3 million black men there. Now, 3 million black men in DC, not one fight breaks out. That's a problem. But see, they don't have to worry about that anymore. They don't have to worry about that anymore. And family, this picture right here, okay? This is a type of picture you probably find in a museum. But when I was in the military, I used to go, there was an old black veteran that has these pictures. And I bought one from him. I had this picture for a long time. But I bought that picture because as a young man, I was miseducated a little bit as well. And when I seen that picture, they told us that we were just cooks. Some of us, we had pilots, but look at here. Look at that. Somebody said they need to see it again. Look at that picture. Look who he's holding to surrender. To surrender. See, you have to know who you are and the shoulders you stand on. This is why you have to know. Now check it out. You cannot depend on public school to teach your children where they come from. The Queen Sugar-Free Mars says, absolutely, this is why I have so much respect for Albert Cleage. He was a vehement preacher and warrior in the struggle for black liberation. These black churches don't give about our people. So for those of you who came into the live, earlier, and you try to, I would never. Okay, so everyone doesn't learn about this in school. And that's my point. Everyone does not learn about the things that I am talking about because especially in parts of the South, because it is not in the curriculum. If you are blessed to know about this, that's a blessing. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people older than me don't know about the COINTEL program. They don't know about the Kerner Commission. We had a panel on 78 Sports TV, and there was a guy on there almost 60, old gangster. He was actually affected by the COINTEL program, and he didn't know about it. And he said, hey, young brother, what's that you keep talking about? And I had to break it down for him. So we have to get out of this intellectual masturbation, trying to show other grown men and grown women what we know and get into these kids' minds, because y'all see what we up against. You all see what we up against. Salute, salute. Yellow Wolf in the house from Syria, salute. So yeah, I'm passionate about it. But check this out. Here's another thing that is just getting out of line. Our young people are so quick to respond in these spaces instead of soaking up knowledge. Now check this out. I don't care how long I fought before. I don't care how long I have coached. I don't care how long I served in the military. When Stormy B Man is speaking to me or speaking on a panel, I shut up. You know why I shut up? Because no matter what I have learned in life, there is something that my elder is going to say that I'm going to learn from. So I shut up. And when young dudes always got a rebuttal, I have to catch myself because I know if it was in person, I'd hit you in your mouth. Because that's how we was brought up. When the OGs is speaking, you shut up. When the elders is speaking, you be quiet and you learn. The stuff you already know, cool, let it. But the stuff you don't know, you need to shut up so you can hear. You can't hear nothing if you talking the whole time. When our elders are speaking, be quiet. You wasn't there. You wasn't there. But when Stormy B Man is speaking, somebody who's been there, who was alive, man, I shut up and listen. When the old heads used to get around that came up from Mississippi, that moved to Chicago, there's a place called Shine King. Stormy B-Man will tell you about Shine King. You can go into Shine King, sit down, and get a whole history lesson of what they went through. That's why I ain't got to watch the TV and know about the Klan. I ain't got to watch TV and know about the Great Migration. I'm talking to people that went through it. So I shut up and listen. But some of these young dudes get in these spaces disrespecting a man like Ali. So I know I would never disrespect the triple nickel, the first Black Airborne Battalion. Because guess what, family? I was an airborne paratrooper and I stand on their shoulders. So anytime I go to a veteran event and I hear one of these old men speaking, you think I'm about to interrupt them and tell them about some new shit that's going on? They don't want to hear that. They didn't come to hear me. They didn't come to hear me. That's my elder. I need to go sit down and listen to what they talking about. So I'm on my last leg, fam. I don't want to be grouped together with this boxing fan base. I don't. We look like cowards in front of the world. We can be called all kinds of names, spit in the face, dealt any kind of way, and we still gonna go help everybody else and hate on each other. That's the point. So for those of you that come into the live talking about, well, you know, coach, people can do what they want. They get their money. All right, fine. If y'all gonna be that nice and graceful with everybody else, do it with each other. But see, y'all only got gang bang and self-hate energy for each other. See, there's nothing you can say to be right in how y'all moving. You're dead wrong. This message is brought to you by Organic Beet Juice. Please take a little bit every morning to get your nitric oxide going. Brother Freedom's Marsh said, can't give up, bro. I understand it's difficult to stay rooted. Can't let these fools win. I'm never going to give up. But what I realize is there's a group that no matter what you say, they don't want to hear the truth. So I understand now that I have to be careful of who I'm talking to at certain times. We still gonna get the truth out, no matter what. But when it starts becoming a pattern of these guys just disrespecting everybody, and Freedom's March, you already know, because we tried to talk to these brothers before, months ago, about the stuff they were saying about the DC thing, the DC versus Baltimore thing. You can't some of these dudes is in their 50s, they're older than me. I can't tell them nothing. You and I are the only veterans on the panel trying to tell them, brothers, you all are not tactically ready for what you're asking for. Freedom's March, was they trying to listen? Were they trying to hear anything we were saying? Nope. They the baddest on earth. See? So I have to understand that. See, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but I have to come from a different way. Because warning always comes before the fall. So with some of you, I realize there has to be a great falling away from. We not all going to be together. This isn't a movement for backbiters and turncoats, but people who are for the upliftment of our people and the liberation of our people. It is for us to be together and cast out lies and knock it out with truth. Because I know there are young champions coming up. Family, some of our young amateurs are dealing with grown man BS while they're just trying to be great and compete. And some of my own brothers are keeping the propaganda going. So everything that's coming in the sport of boxing, some of you are like, well, what's the next prophecy, coach? This is the next prophecy. I told you all that if we aren't careful about how we're handling this exhibition thing, top fighters who don't want the smoke will be able to leave real boxing and go join the exhibitions. I told you all that almost 6 months ago on 78 Sports TV, talking to the general. I told you all that. And what did people get on the panel and tell me? They said, Coach, that ain't ever gonna happen. The biggest fight this year is probably gonna be Jake Paul versus Tank November 15th. The highest grossing fight last year was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. But y'all told me it ain't gonna happen. All right, cool. I'm 1-0. I'm 1-0 with the prophecy. You see? Salute. We got fam from Poland checking in. Family, did you all hear what I just said? Those of you who are real boxing fans, the biggest fight of this year is probably going to be Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. This is the greatness that we come from. But I also realize some of you don't. You have the jig germ in your blood. Joseph Townsend said, hey, Joseph Townsend giving y'all the prophecy. Joseph Townsend said next year it will be Jake Paul versus AJ. See? So family, for those of you that think I'm lying, what have you heard more about in the last week? Have you heard more about Crawford versus Canelo or Jake Paul versus Tank? Take your time answering that. Really think about it now. Think about that, family. Have you all heard more about Jake Paul versus Tank or Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, which should be the biggest boxing thing right now? Family, this is beet juice. So now that this is happening, you can't say you were not warned. Now that this is happening, you cannot say that you have been told. So I'm going to reiterate this. Hey, if Queen Sugar Free Mars thinks you need to get up out of here, hey, you out. You will not disrupt this truth, this agent of chaos. Okay? You would not be an agent of chaos in here. Sugar Free Mars, my other wrench would get you out of here. Freedom's March should have been had a wrench. But listen, Freedom's March said Korean red ginseng works well too, and yeah, ginseng is ginseng is very good for your kidneys as well. Well, family, I'm going to reiterate what I said from the beginning before I head out of here. Those of you who make excuses for these fighters, a lot of them don't need you to defend their business moves. A lot of them don't need you to defend how they're moving. It ain't about race and disrespect until people make it about that. So when Terrence Crawford was being booed and racial slurs was being yelled at that press conference in New York, that right there should have been enough for y'all to say, all right. Same time, you got this crap with Tito going on and the stuff that he's saying, that should have been enough for y'all to be like, hey, man, everybody get on code. It ain't a bunch of us elite fighters. It ain't a whole bunch of us. If just us get on code, hey, we good. But soon as I started my live and I started talking about other communities and how they're on code, y'all come in my chat talking about Boots ain't got to be on code. Boots ain't got to do nothing. You know what? Listen, like I used to tell my soldiers, you ain't got to do shit I say. But when bullets get to flying, whether you get down or not, all I care about is I told you to get your ass down. What happens after that is on you. You don't want to listen? All right. And I make it plain for him. You don't want to listen? When I have to go tell your mother and father how you died, my conscience will be okay because I know you are gone because of your disobedience. I know that you are gone because the training that we gave you, you decided once we got in the field, you weren't going to listen. So I'm going to tell you what a lot of you dudes are like. There's a movie called, what's the name of that movie? We Are Soldiers, I think. What's the name of the movie Freedom's March with Mel Gibson and they go into Vietnam? Joseph Townsend said, it's always about race. I watched the Mayweather versus Canelo fight at my Mexican co-worker's house. Let's just say I never spoke to him after that. Man, brother, I already know. But there's a war movie, and I think it's called We Are Soldiers. We Were Soldiers, thank you. We Were Soldiers. And me and my boy had watched that movie before we went to airborne school, because airborne school is on Fort Benning at the time. They call it something else now. They changed the name, but it's going to be Fort Benning to me until the day I die. I don't know what they're calling it now. It's something else. But Fort Benning, Georgia, in Columbus, we're watching this movie before airborne school, getting all hyped up, you know, because we know it's going to be tough. I'm a private first class. He's a private. We're going to a school with the best of the best. You got the Marine Recon. You got the Navy SEALs. You got the Ranger qualified Army soldiers all going to airborne school. You have to pass that before you can go to your next Special Forces school, right? So we getting all amped up. And we're watching this movie. And in the movie, We Were Soldiers, there was this guy doing training that was all gung-ho, right? He's all gung-ho. And he's like, man, look, I'm born to be a leader, all of this stuff, right? When they get to Vietnam, he doesn't listen to his leadership. He's the first one to be unalived. Back in the garrison environment, he was big bad Clint Eastwood. They get out into the actual field. He doesn't listen. He runs straight into enemy fire. First one unalived. A lot of you brothers who are doing what you're doing when we try to preach against the self-hate, when we try to preach about being unified and you go against it, just know you're going to be the first ones to get enemy fire because y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all don't even see what's going on. You all live in this delusion. You all really do live in this delusion. Oh yeah, Big Bear. I seen Platoon. It ain't too many war movies I haven't seen. I don't watch them as much anymore for certain reasons, but back in the day when I was in the military, I watched almost all of them. Now they got too many of them. Like on Tubi, it's just too many of them that are low budget. But the original Platoon, We Were Soldiers, Sniper, Saving Private Ryan, Ambush. Netflix got a few good new ones. But yeah, family. Hey, Coach is done with it. I'm done with it. The fighters who are moving the right way, hey, I'm gonna support them. I will. But the people, the older cats who are misleading the younger cats, I hear more strength in a lot of our women all over the YouTube spaces. Queens like Sugar Free Mars, queens like Shaquilla Fields, Kamara Fields. All of these people, salute, True Will LDBC or Nothing in the House, are having more strength and courage across the platform. But every single time one of ours do it, y'all say we ain't got to be on code. When ICE was out in Cali, no, when ICE was out in New York and they were snatching people, right? They had to fight. When they went over there to the Haitian neighborhood, and tried to take somebody's grandma. It didn't go well for them because they're a community in their own code. You just ain't gonna do whatever you want to do. But it is us. We have a group, because don't get it twisted. We have brothers who are conscious, who take care of their families, who want us to be great, who are great men. But we also have a group of men, old YNs with a young YN mindset, who call themselves OGs, who call themselves big brothers. An OG and a big brother is supposed to give you wisdom, to my young brothers. And if you are constantly getting into it with people, and you are constantly having these debates about what you believe is fact when it's really opinion, and you never address facts when they present themselves, that's very unmasculine of you. Very, very. Big Bear, I'm not going to talk about my military moves that I made in the military, but I served 10 years in the Army. I was an airborne paratrooper, infantryman for 3 years, and I was a chemical specialist for the remainder of that time. Joseph Townsend, just because you're an elder didn't make you an OG. There's a lot of old fools out there, and that is a fact. That is a fact. So family, y'all know how I give it up. Keep knocking over the lies with truth. I'm going to get on out of here. You all enjoy your Sunday. Salute to every single one of you that came in, to the brothers, to the sisters. We have to be the link in the chain to keep a great generation to keep going. You all hear me? To keep a great generation to keep going, just like any other community does. I know our queen, Sugar Free Mars, is going to be live later. I will be there in the flesh. Salute to the family. Peace to my comrades. And it's always smoke to you COINTELPRO Pro boxing fans. You all are throwing in my side. Peace.